So thank you very much for a very nice introduction, and I'm extremely grateful to PIMEC and to DG NEMA, and it is indeed a great pleasure to speak in front of Madam Minister about something very serious. My scheme of presentation is as flashed. I'm going to, since Irfan Tariq Saab has already set the theme of that presentation, so I'm definitely going to take advantage of his first presentation, and I'm going to limit myself to the content flashed. One thing which I would like to say to my students, there are two areas where you can immediately see the impact of climate change. One area is the northern areas or the glaciers, and you can see through satellite the melting of glaciers. And the other area which is very important and which is of great concern is the coastal area, because the coast is going to get immediate impact of climate change. And as flashed on the screen that it is in fact we who are responsible for the emission of greenhouse gases, and because of that emission the temperature of the earth is rising. And if we are unable to control emission as per the Paris Agreement, then may Allah help us. Uh, this graph shows the trend, and if you can see that the trend of sea level rise is gradually increasing over the years, and the present state is reflected as it's greater than 4 millimeter per year. And it is, as Irfan Saab has rightly pointed out, that it was rising yesterday and it is going to rise tomorrow. This figure is very interesting. Amjad Saab has briefly mentioned about SSPs. And if you can see on the graph that SSP1 is the state that if we are able to control emission and bring it to almost zero by the end of 2050, then we are going to control lot of bad thing which we have been doing over the years. But if we fail, as Amjad Saab has mentioned, that the worst case scenario is very alarming, that if we failed and if we continue to carry out the routine affairs, and if we keep going the emissions as we presently are, then things are not going to be very comfortable. How vulnerable are Pakistan's coastal area? This is something very interesting, and believe me, most of us have no idea about the sensitivity of that issue. So my intentions are not to harass you, or my intention is just to give a wake-up call to all who matters. Why it is serious? If you see the profile on the left side, this is the profile of Indus Delta, and you can see that over long distances Indus is very flat. So what does that mean? It means that even a minute rise in sea level would intrude into large distances, and this is extremely alarming. And if you can see a topographic map on the right side of the screen, you can see that all the pink shades shown on the delta are already under sea levels. This is very interesting. On the 15th of November 2016, we experienced an event known as supermoon. Supermoon is the event when moon comes closest to the earth, and due to that closeness, it exerts more gravitational pull, and it is written in the text that it pulls about 5 centimeters higher than the normal tide. And if you can see a situation of delta a day earlier and during the super moon period, sorry. What Irfan Saab indicated that sea surface temperatures are increasing in our area. Due to the rise in sea surface temperature, it is initiating lot of cyclones in our region. And as Irfan Saab mentioned that we used to hear very seldom about the cyclones, but over the years, every year, it on average 2 or 3 cyclones visit us or visit across the Arabian Sea. This is one of the indication. In 2019 October, it was 28th of October, cyclone Care passed through our Arabian Sea. It was far beyond our EEZ, and it was more than 300 kilometers away from the coastline. And the picture on the left side of the screen is Clifton DHA Golf Club, and you can see it. The cyclone passed more than 300 kilometers, but it flooded the golf club of DHA. It is because of the low gradient of our coastline. As Amjad Saab mentioned that there are different SSPs, and you can see that if we are managed to control emission by 2050 and bring it to almost zero, then we are going to experience a sea level rise of about 30 centimeters. But if we fail to control it, it can go up to 0.72 meters. In the following slides, what I did, I extracted data from this chart, and if you go, I'm going to show you the website of that chart. That chart was not made by me. It was prepared by IPCC, and they have, if you go to their site, their website, they have uploaded all the data which made that graph possible. This is the state of affair along the Karachi coast, and you can see that according to IPCC and according to NASA prediction, we are going to have a sea level rise of about 60 centimeters by the end of the century. And just imagine the flatness of our coastline and all that incidents that occurred previously. And 60 centimeters, if you add 60 centimeters above the normal tide range, you can imagine what is going to happen. This is the data I extracted from that curve that I showed earlier. And what I did, I calculated year-wise difference or 10 years-wise raise in the sea level, and I added to the tidal range. And you can see that presently it is about 3.6 meter highest astronomical tide, but by the end of the 21st this century, it is going to be as high as 4.2 meters. In this chart, what I did, I have hypothetically at a storm condition where we might have a storm surge as high as 1 meter along Karachi coast. And you can see that the tidal range is going to be more than 5 meters. This figure shows that there are number of serious incidents that can happen to any coast with reference to sea level rise. And it starts from submergence of land till the impeded drainage. And I'm going to show you some of the example from the Karachi coast. You can see on the left, this is Hapco, which is almost on the coastline. And on the right, this is Korangi Thermal Power Station. And the proximity of sea and the expected rise of sea level about 5 meters, you can imagine what is going to happen. This is quite common every year during southwest monsoon. This happens along the Hawke's Bay area. Atif, sorry. This is one of the biggest industrial estate of Sindh, and this is site area. And you can see how close this whole industrial complex is situated very close to sea. And the other important area is Liari River. Liari River is reportedly bringing about more than 500 million gallons per day of domestic and industrial effluents. And just imagine if Liari start experiencing extreme sea level and higher tides, and just imagine a scenario where the extreme sea level prevent all the drainage of Liari and hold all that sewage into the Liari River, and it would start gaining some flooding. And even during extreme sea level condition or during tides as high as 5 meters, Liari River can experience backflow. This is Landi Korangi industrial area, and again you can imagine what is going to happen to the industrial area. We have a refinery there, and we also have Mali River, which also can experience backflow. This is the state of affairs, and you can, this is the area under occupied by the elites of Karachi, and you can see the storm water drainage is directly aligned to the sea. And what if the sea rises to that level and that storm drainage start providing some avenues and let the seawater intrude into the area, urban area. This is Sean Circle, Clifton, and nobody has ever thought about the reason why this water remained there for that long. And believe me, one of the main reason for the water that hold back was the high tide, because this stormy weather coincides with high sea conditions. So this can happen. As I was saying that, just imagine a backflow. Look at my student, she is asking me to wind it up.
She's just doing the right job.
Just imagine a scenario when Liari is going to experience backflow. All this garbage is just waiting for that moment, and in that case, all that trash and all that plastic is going to go towards sea. Atif? This is something very interesting, and if I have tried to relate sea level rise with the challenges of decade of the ocean, as you must be aware of the fact that United Nations has declared the period between 2021 to 2030 as the decade of ocean science for sustainable development. And they have identified 10 different challenges, and you can see all those or most of the challenges are directly related, or they are going to be impacted by the sea level rise. We are going to have lot more issues related to marine pollution. Because of the coastal erosion, we are going to have high turbidity condition, and that is going to impact the biodiversity, and it is also going to damage uh, the fish catch, sustainability of fish resources, and there are many different reasons. But since I am asked to conclude, so let me go through quickly. These are some of the responses we need to take. Some of them, uh, just briefly, there are engineering solutions for almost everything. But can we afford that solution? This is something very important to understand. But these are different options. First option is we don't do anything and let it happen, and you can imagine what is going to happen. We have not yet started any protection work, but countries, some of the countries, they have already experiencing issues related to sea level rise, and they have started securing their assets on the coast. And these are the some of the details of expenditure. And the figure and the estimated cost looks very high, but believe me, it is much cheaper to build something instead of rebuilding something. This is my recommendation, and due to the paucity, I'm now concluding my talk. Thank you.